Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday edition of our 19atSIX weekend weather show, live on Saturdays and Sundays at 6 p.m. right here on Fox 19, wherever you stream, whether it's on the fox19.com website, Fox 19 News, and First Alert weather apps. We're live on the 24/7 weather streaming channel. We're live on YouTube, and of course, we are live on Facebook, where you can ask any questions, comments, of course, respectfully, and we'll be happy to have a conversation about whatever curious questions you may have. And again, it is Sunday, our Sunday edition. How y'all doing here this evening? Meteorologist Emery here. First of all, how are you feeling with the Bengals game? They're up by 6 right now at half, 16-10. Got the whole sports gang here. Joe and Jeremy out in Kansas City. Gabby and Reagan here in the studios tonight at 10 o'clock, breaking down all the Bengals coverage and how the game happened and all the good stuff here coming up again at 10 o'clock tonight. But want to get started with our forecast first. We are looking at conditions staying pretty warm. However, we did make a change in this 7-day forecast. We did bring in the opportunities for maybe a few sprinkles or a light shower. So that's positive, right? Overnight tonight, we got a low of 60 degrees. We've got clear skies ahead. And then we go into the day on your Monday. We've got highs up to 87, mostly sunny skies. And then that 7-day forecast. So again, there are opportunities for maybe sprinkles on Tuesday, a slight shower chance on Wednesday and Thursday. But then going into the final days of summer, Friday and Saturday, we're right back up in the upper 80s and low 90s. And Sunday, the first day of fall, how fitting, a high of 89 with sunshine and just downright hot conditions. Now, this is that 7-day forecast. I always give you a promise the first couple of minutes of 19atSIX to give you that 7-day forecast in case if you're taking a quick halftime break before you go back and watch the Bengals game. But if you want to stick around, awesome. We have a lot to discuss between the tropics, this pattern, when we could see the ridge break down, and beyond the 7-day forecast, giving you 14 days. The only station here in Cincinnati that gives you a 14-day forecast. We got that covered for you, all coming up in just a little bit. But I want to get things started off with, a subject that, I feel like considering the effects and the impacts of it, I think you can't say it too much because it's just been that dry. So we have drought conditions, of course. This is updated once a week. This is the U.S. Drought Monitor, and as you can see, we got a lot of locations, moderate, severe, extreme drought conditions over towards far eastern Highland County, over towards the Rainsboro, Bainbridge area, if you're familiar with that, or Paint Creek Lake. That is exceptional drought. That is the highest level of a drought you could possibly go. And we do have several counties in burn bans right now in the tri-state and across the region, for that matter. So over in southeast Indiana, we've got Union, Franklin, Dearborn, and Switzerland counties. In Kentucky, Gallatin, Grant, Boone, Robertson, Bracken, and Lewis counties. And in Ohio, it is just Highland County. But even if there isn't a burn ban in your county, it's still very important to be fire-wise or just being responsible with an open flame because it could easily spread in these conditions. Relative humidity has been very low. In fact, I was looking at some observations earlier. Relative humidity was dancing around 20-25%. So you have something like that on top of how dry the surface is with the grass brown. You have what we call fuels, that dry vegetation could easily spread a fire. You have those dry conditions in the air, that relative humidity I was mentioning, and then you get a breeze, a slight breeze. It doesn't even have to be a strong gust of wind. It could just be a breeze, could easily spread a fire. So just really important. If you are maybe grilling out this afternoon, just be mindful of that flame. Also want to apologize, too. I've been dealing with a migraine here this afternoon, so my head's a little sore. Took some ibuprofen and got some nutrients in me and my water, of course. But at any point, I might take a pause just because of the lights and moving around. But try to hopefully not make that interrupt this show. So right now we've got a lot of sunshine here on our Fox 19 tower camera. It's located in Fairmount looking towards downtown. Notice the flag here in the distance over on the U.S. Bank Tower. I believe that's the U.S. Bank Tower. You can see there's a slight breeze. It's nothing major, but it is noticeable. And right now it is 88 degrees, so still a very warm afternoon and evening here in the tri-state. And so We've got that. We've also got our Queensgate rooftop camera looking over towards Paycor. You know any folks who are watching the game at Paycor? Sounds like a really interesting thing, watching an away game at home. But you can see here, abundant sunshine, blue skies, a very beautiful view on our Queensgate camera. And then switching it now over to our Newport Levee camera, you've got the Newport Oktoberfest going on. You got the rides, you got the boat out there, beautiful sunshine gleaming off of the Ohio River. And notice the little ripples here, indicating that light breeze that you notice on the flag as well. And then looking now at our Turfway Park camera, another beautiful vantage point, blue skies and sunshine. So what I want to do now is take a look at radar, because of course it's quiet here, but I want to draw our attention to what could be our next rainmaker, and that's going to be for the middle of next week. My mom was in town and telling me that when you're trying to drink a drink of water, it gets really loud, so I'm going to try to mute that whenever I get a sip. So right now on radar and satellite, we've been talking about the last couple of days. We've got high pressure right here. You can kind of tell based on the clear skies through here. And this high pressure, it's beginning to weaken a little bit. It's not, you know, it's still a pretty strong high pressure, no doubt about that. But what we're watching now is this system here off the coast of the Carolinas. And it could become a tropical storm, believe it or not. So it's going to show you that right now. Potential tropical cyclone 8. Winds are at 45 miles per hour. It's moving to the north and west at 7 miles per hour. That pressure still, it's a low pressure system. It's not, you know, super strong or anything, but it is bringing in some good showers and storms and some breezy winds, obviously with it, with those winds at around 45, sustained. Now here is that track. It takes its way over towards the South Carolina, North Carolina state line, going into western Virginia, into southern West Virginia by the middle of the work week. So it's beginning to slow down as it makes its way into the Appalachian Mountain region. Now we've talked about this the last few days of this system going to have a hard time getting over the mountains to precipitate here in the Ohio Valley. That being said, models are trying to reinforce that this thing could have some bands with it that may just have enough energy to work with to spark a few showers or sprinkles here into the tri-state. And so that is going to be, the chances could begin as early as Tuesday evening and could linger as far as into Thursday. And I'll show you that forecast model data here in just a moment. But this is what our eyes are on when it comes to rain chances. Now, do the rain chances look significant? Absolutely not. It looks very light. But it's there and could be welcomed. Any amount of rain is welcome here in the tri-state. So today, again, it was a hot day. We had a high of 89 degrees, a morning low of 66, and 66 was the official morning low at CVG. Other spots did make it into the mid-50s. Middletown at 55 this morning, 57 at the Lunken Airport, 62 in Batavia. And today we made it up to 90 degrees over at the Lunken Airport, 91 in Hamilton and in Middletown, 88 in Batavia and in Lebanon, and 88 in Batesville. And right now it's still pretty warm, 90 currently in Hamilton, right along the Great Miami River, 87 up in Wilmington there in central Clinton County, 88 over into Falmouth, into central portions of Pendleton County, 89 at the Lunken Airport over in eastern Hamilton County, 86 up in Richmond, Indiana, that's just north of Union County, and then Batesville, Indiana, 86 here this hour. Now, as I mentioned, the air is really dry, so we've got dew points right now, measure the moisture in the air in the, well, mid to upper 40s and low 50s. Excuse me. So we've got a really dry air mass that we're working with, and so let's see if this is going to work. With that dry air, relative humidity has gone down a bit, so again, that's why we really want to emphasize that if you've got an open flame, be very mindful. If you're in a county burn ban, then obviously you want to adhere to the laws of your local officials. Winds right now, sustained winds are anywhere from 5 to about 15 miles per hour. And then gusts out there, you know, nothing too impressive, but there could be a gust maybe close to 15, maybe 20 miles per hour as we head on into the next couple of hours here into the tri-state. And going into tonight, we'll show you that tonight forecast, tomorrow forecast, then look at the forecast models up until Tuesday, and then we'll take a quick pause and look at our Facebook comments and questions, both on the Fox 19 Facebook page and my Facebook page. Going into tonight, though, a low of 60. So a little bit milder compared to last night into this morning. So we are looking at temperatures getting a little bit cooler. Might be a good night to have the windows open, but then close them quickly once the sun rises, because it's going to get another hot day. Highs in the mid to upper 80s for your Monday with that sunshine. And for those curious, we might, I've been looking at the wildfire smoke, and the smoke right now is up to our north. And I don't suspect it to be much of an impact for us. So this is looking back at Saturday and Sunday. That high pressure, it's up here spinning around. So it's keeping most of the smoke actually to the north of the Fox 19 Now viewing area. However, there is some smoke down to the deep south, according to this particular forecast model. But it doesn't look to be too much of a nuisance or an issue. So that's some good news to see. So I just wanted to check that with you all, just in case if you might be curious. So we're not looking at any kind of thick haze in the skies, or the upper levels, that is, at least through Tuesday. So let's look at this forecast model, which will show the potential for maybe a few sprinkles on Tuesday here in portions of the Fox 19 Now viewing area. Now, I will say the coverage has expanded a little bit in terms of who might see what. Still looks like our eastern counties might favor from this the most, which is really encouraging, consider where those severe, extreme, and even exceptional drought conditions are. So we go into Tuesday. Here's Tuesday morning. Notice those clouds. These are upper level clouds moving in. And this is, I think, doing a little bit overdone with the rain, but there could be a few sprinkles over towards Lewis County Tuesday morning. We go into Tuesday midday. Notice still a lot of cloud cover. I think Tuesday there's a chance for maybe a sprinkle. A couple of raindrops, nothing more than that. And we go into Tuesday night into Wednesday. And Wednesday we could be, it jumped on me. Let's go back here. Tuesday overnight into Wednesday. Here you go. You got these bands of showers that are trying to fire up. There we go. Here's Wednesday morning. So here, a couple of isolated showers. Can't be ruled out for your Wednesday morning. And again, I think areas east of I-75 will have the best shot of seeing any measurable rainfall. And I say measurable very lightly because it won't be very much. And I'll show you that data from the latest forecast model and look at a bigger picture and show you what we could expect here over the next 10 days coming up in just a couple of minutes. So we are looking now at our Facebook pages. We'll start with the Fox 19 Facebook page. A couple of comments and questions there. Michael giving the thumbs up. Jeff says good evening. Good evening to you, Jeff. Hopefully you're having a great Sunday afternoon. Susan says it's nasty hot out. Hope you're enjoying air conditioning. Yeah. So when I was in high school and part of college, I actually worked in construction outside. Both my parents worked in construction. My dad did up until he retired recently, but I understand exactly how hot it can be. So I'm very fortunate to be able to work in AC. Now, I will say that this heat, whether it's dry or sweaty, it's still hot. But it's not as humid, so that at least adds to the benefit of it not being miserable, humid kind of heat. But it's still hot, absolutely, Susan. Susan says no clouds in the sky. Yeah, it's absolutely blue skies out there. It's because of that high pressure. Though it is beginning to show signs of weakening, still pretty strong and still giving us, again, a lot of that sunshine. Debbie saying we need a rain dance. Certainly do. And your best shot of it, at least the next 7 days, is going to be, I think, Wednesday, maybe into Thursday. We'll show you that again on the data here in a moment. Susan asks, have you heard about the Northern Lights tonight? I've seen some chatter on social media. I looked at the website from the Space Weather Center. That's the best resource to go to. I'm clearly no expert on Aurora Borealis. I've covered it before, but forecasting Northern Lights is extremely challenging. But I would say you want to stay up to date on space weather what is it, the space weather forecast. I don't know what the exact URL is. I think it's spaceweather.gov. Don't hold me to it, but I think that's what it is. And I think currently the geomagnetic storm is at 0, the index. And for us in the tri-state, you like to see a 4 or a 5 for us in the tri-state to see something. Now, I saw the forecast was G3, which is close, but it's that fine line, I think, where it's not going to be as favorable. Now, like I said, I haven't looked into it in depth, but I did see that the forecast was just G3. But regardless, check spaceweather.gov. And if you're out tonight, maybe look up the camera on your phone out to see if it's there. I doubt it, but I don't want to hype anything. Sarah says, hi, Ethan. Hope you're having a good weekend. So far, so good. I got to see my mom for a little bit this morning, so that was really nice to spend some time with her. So we're going to my Facebook page real quick, at Ethan Emery WX. No comments there yet. So again, the forecast for the Space Weather Prediction Center, I believe, still has a G3 in the forecast. Yep. And with a G3 for us is not favorable to really see it. But if you look, obviously, to the north with your phone, you might see a little something, but it could be light pollution too. So I wouldn't be overly excited, at least right now. But Northern Lights forecasting, very, very challenging. So that could easily change in the next 5-6 hours. So again, I would say your best source for that is Space Weather Prediction Center. I think it's spaceweather.gov. I could be off with the URL, but certainly something to look at because we got clear skies tonight. So good opportunities, perhaps, for that. So here is the long-range forecast model. I'm going to have it on a wider scope. It's going to show this system, this tropical system, moving into the tri-state. So we're going to play this forward. Here's Monday. Going into Tuesday, we've got those clouds increasing. And let's back that up a little bit. So we go into Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. Again, I think there's a potential for a sprinkle, perhaps, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening for areas east of I-75. Wednesday, I think, is our best shot for some moisture in the tri-state. And that is not really a great amount of moisture, but it does look like we could see a couple of bands of light shower activity. This model is also trying to paint the picture for some activity on Thursday. And it's really close. I think Thursday what we're going to be dealing with more or less is a lot of more cloud cover, which might limit temperatures a little bit to not be quite as hot as it has been. So at best, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we could be looking at a lot more cloud cover, which would limit those high temperatures to a varying degree or so. But if there's rain, won't really amount to too much from that. And I'll show you the rainfall amounts according to one particular model here in a moment. So we'll take a look right now at this weekend, which does look dry. It looks hot. So here you go all the way to Sunday and still dry. But notice on the top left of the screen there, that is going to move in going into the following week, the first days of fall. So that's a system we're trying to watch for perhaps the opportunity for some rain or thunderstorms going into next Tuesday. So we'll play it out there. There's Tuesday morning. Got some shower activity moving into the tri-state, and that's part of a frontal system. And then note that behind this frontal system, there's more activity here. So it appears like there is the opportunity for us to fall into an unsettled pattern that first full week of fall, which is an indication of a pattern change, something we really would look forward to. And I'll show you what I'm seeing here in a moment on a forecast model that does a really good job at highlighting that ridge, that darn ridge that's been giving us Such warm conditions, hot conditions even, over the last several days. So before we do that, though, I want to show you the rainfall map here. This is from one particular model, and it only goes out to this point. But notice that it's a lot of areas not seeing very much. This is Wednesday into the 11 a.m. hour. We'll play any further. Yeah, it's not very much. It's not going to amount to much. Could we see a spot close to 1/10 of an inch? Maybe. But most of this activity is going to be less than 1/10 of an inch. So not a lot of moisture associated with this for us here in the tri-state. So let me show you a really cool thing. So a lot of information on the banner. I'm going to get simple for you. Areas that are in red is a good indicator of a ridge, higher heights, high pressure. Areas in blue are lower heights or a trough. This is a great resource to look at to look for ridges and troughs in the upper levels. This is the upper level of the atmosphere, and this is a good indicator of what we could see. So this is this evening. Notice right here is a ridge of high pressure aloft, so high pressure up, and it's allowing temperatures to be very warm. And when you see dark red like this, that is very warm conditions, abnormally warm conditions. But areas to the west, over towards the Pacific Northwest, you got this yellow here. That's an indicator of lower heights. So that's a trough, bringing in the potential for some showers and thunderstorms there. So play this forward. And note, going into Tuesday and Wednesday, you've got this right here pretty flat. And what this is, the change between the deeper oranges and the yellows and greens is pretty much the Pacific jet right here. This is the Pacific jet that kind of divides the milder air from the hot air here in the country. So this ridge for the last few days has been pretty flat over us, and that's why it's been kind of the doldrum forecast, every day being hot and dry, hot and dry. But this is going into Tuesday of next week. The ridge begins to get a little amplified here as this trough here over to the Pacific Northwest cuts in a little bit deeper, indicating better opportunities for rain for folks in the high and central Rockies in the Pacific Northwest. Whereas for us, we still have this ridge, but what we've got working for us is that low pressure system, that tropical system into the Carolinas. This is into Tuesday. It's going to knock those temperatures down just a little bit for us for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But we play this out going into Friday and Saturday. That little trough I was showing you that was over towards the Pacific Northwest into the Rockies, it moves up pretty quickly back into Canada. And here you have it, this ridge, it just gets stronger right over us. That's why Friday and Saturday, we're right back in those upper 80s and low 90s. But do note, remember I told you earlier it was kind of flat? Do note, now we've got a wave. We got these waves here where the jet stream is. That's a good sign. That's a sign of the potential for a pattern change. Now, you also want it to get, deeper or further down. And we don't see that at least through Sunday. But we go into the first week of fall and notice this right here begins to sink its way southward. So this is Tuesday, September 24th, a day that we do have chances of rain in the tri-state. And this right here, the Pacific jet in the upper levels of the atmosphere, is beginning to sink its way into portions of central continental U.S. And again, is a sign of a changing pattern. Now, this model only goes out to the 25th, but I've been looking at data, and it does suggest that though temperatures will be above normal at least through the beginning of October, we are looking at more indicators of potential rain in the tri-state. And usually a good indicator of rain is a trough or this little dip here. So we are looking at the opportunities for showers and storms. And I will mind you that going to the very end of the month of September, right through here, this trough will swing its way through, could bring in some thunderstorm development here in the Central Plains, the Great Lakes region, even into the Ohio Valley region. So something we'll have to monitor as we get a little bit closer. But it's a really cool thing to show you. Kind of geeking out a little bit about being able to show you something like this. But it kind of just shows you that we are stuck in this pattern for a little bit of time, but we do eventually begin to see that shift towards the end of the month. If that was confusing, I apologize. But this won't confuse you. The 7-day forecast, the 14-day forecast coming up here in just a moment. So we got a couple of comments new on the Facebook page. Sam McMillan. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Molly says, hello, Ethan. We sure do need the rain dance. Our pond is almost gone. You have more pictures to share with us. Fox19.com/pics. That's PICS. And I'll try to show that time at 10 o'clock. And I have not had a chance to show a photo, because I told you yesterday, if you were watching yesterday, that I want to start showing viewer photos on a daily basis on 19atSIX. So I apologize. I didn't get a chance to do that. I've been looking at the data and also watching the Bengals game. Don't tell my bosses that. But I was watching that for a little bit. But this is a photo from yesterday, and this is from Finn Ferris. I'll take a step out real quick. And as you can see, beautiful sunrise there. This is over in Mainville, Ohio. That is in Warren County. So beautiful sunrise. And I will say the next couple of mornings won't see that cloud cover to give us as much beautiful color, but it'll still be a nice sunrise and sunset here into the area. Sam says, when was the last time we went this long without a lot of rain? Well, depends on where. Some places have seen rain the last couple of weeks and others haven't. So you got to give me some more information, because there's also limited data of, where you want, like what area are you looking for, and if there's a airport or temperature gauge that has, or not temperature gauge, but rather a rain gauge, and if it has enough data to look at averages and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a pretty decent drought here the last several weeks, really. Michelle says, good evening, Ethan. Good evening to you, Michelle. Nick, is this expected to be a snowy winter or too soon to ask? I would say right now it's too soon, though I will show you the La Nina pattern does favor more moisture. All right. Just got an email that I'm getting my my Bobcat tickets going to Ohio University in Athens for homecoming this year. Going to the football game. Looking forward to that. I'll look at my Facebook comments real quick. That's why I'm on my phone. And then we will move along here. No comments? Okay. So, Nick, I will answer your question here. Give me about 3 or 4 minutes to show you the, well, more like 5 minutes, the 7-day forecast and beyond, and the 14-day overall. So this is going to be the 7-day you'll see here in just a moment. And you are going to notice, again, pretty warm conditions over the next 7 days. Hot conditions, I would say, for at least 3 days of the 7-day forecast. I mean, tomorrow is pretty much on the fence of being hot, 87. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there are some question marks with regards to how warm or cool will it be during the day. It depends on the thickness of the cloud cover. It depends on if we see sprinkles or showers. Might limit those temperatures, will be much warmer, but we got highs in the low to mid 80s Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, morning lows in the upper 50s and low 60s. But then we go to the end of the week, going into next weekend, which is, again, the last days of summer, the first day of fall officially next Sunday. Highs in the upper 80s and low 90s, and lows in the low 60s. And going beyond the 7-day forecast, the temperatures will change. And look at that. We've got rain chances pretty much each day from the 24th through the 29th. So, like I said, I was showing you that big map of the heights, really where the ridges and troughs are. And what we're going to fall into is this opportunity for daily chances for showers or thunderstorms. And the better chances right now look to be Tuesday, the 24th, and then that weekend of the 28th and 29th. So those opportunities for rain are going to be present, especially on those 3 days, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, for the very end of the month of September. And note the temperatures. They do get cooler. Still above normal for this time of the year, but we are looking at not so much in terms of 90s in that beyond the 7-day forecast. So here's that 7-day plus for you, giving you all 14 days. And as you can see, every single temperature, both the high and the low, is above that normal line. Normal high by September 29th is 74. Normal low is 52. We're getting closer, though, by the end of the month of September. And as I mentioned yesterday, this is data I can't really show on here because it looks really messy, and I don't want to confuse you too much. But going into October, the end of that first week and second week of October, I do see temperature shifting to be a little bit more seasonable, more cooler temperatures, in addition to rain opportunities. So some good news, and kind of falls in line with this La Nina pattern. Now, we're not in it just yet. We have a 71% chance of getting a La Nina winter, which means that you get the cool waters over the central Pacific. I'm going to show you that explainer graphic right now once the graphics load. And this does influence directly our winter forecast. So again, you get these trade winds off of South America. It pushes that warm sea surface conditions further off to the west, I guess in this particular example, west. And what that does is allows for cooler sea surface temperatures over the central Pacific, and that directly affects the location of that Pacific jet and polar jet. And what it means for us in the Ohio Valley is above average moisture. So, Nick, you're asking about snowy conditions. It's going to depend on how temperatures will be this winter. And right now, I think temperatures are going to be warmer. So I think that this winter so far, by looking at the data I've seen, we're looking at more of a slushy, or not slushy, a soggy winter versus a snowy winter. Now, a lot can change between now and then. This is still September 15th. We can obviously get a lot more data. There could be a major pattern shift that could affect things. But typically in a La Nina winter, you get wetter than normal conditions, and that appears to be the case, especially looking at that long-term forecast, as we are looking at the pattern shifting at the end of this month into the beginning of October. So, too soon to say if it's going to be snowy, but we do have a better likelihood of seeing above average moisture, which might mean snow. Hopefully more snow than last year. I think last year was kind of sucked, personally. I like snow. Jeff saying Rocky Fork and Paint Creek are low. I'm going to get aerial pics tomorrow morning. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, it's pretty bad. My dad has a creek or crick. It's where I didn't even know it was called creek until I was in middle school. But anyway, it's dry, bone dry. My grandma's creek is also bone dry, and it's been really hard on her horses. I know that, and there's quite a bit of a need of rain, not just in those locations, but much of the Fox 19 Now viewing area. DD says no snow. Hey, you know what? We can dream, right? Okay. So I believe I've covered everything at this point. I want to double check real quick my Facebook page before we sign off here, because we got to get ready for the 10 o'clock newscast, and I want to watch a little bit of the Bengals game. See how they're doing. No comments on my Facebook page. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for joining us here on this Sunday edition of 19 at 6. Again, looking pretty hot tomorrow. Looking at some rain chances going into Tuesday, maybe Tuesday evening, Wednesday, maybe even into Thursday. But then we get hot for the very end of the week going into the first day of fall, which is next Sunday. So So that'll do it. Thank you all so much for joining us here on this Sunday edition of 19 at 6. Have a fun Sunday evening. We'll see you at 10 o'clock tonight here right now, or not right now, but at 10 on Fox 19 now, where we not only have the latest First Alert forecast update, but as well as our sports headlines and news headlines. And of course, you can always get that information anytime, anywhere on the Fox 19 News and First Alert weather apps and on fox19.com.